Hello, hello, hello. You're back, and we're back, and we have an intro.
Yeah, good job, Nate.
Thanks, buddy. A real intro. We're like a real podcast now.
We'll see.
Episode 2. And we got an intro.
We're 20 seconds in, and we're doing better.
Yeah. You might be able to hear both of us correctly as well.
Yeah, we figured out we had our mics hooked up wrong.
So episode 3 should be really good if this kind of progress we're making in just one episode.
I'm pretty sure we're going to peak here. We peaked at our intro.
Let's go!
Hey, kids.
Hey, Dad.
War crimes will be prosecuted.
Let's have a Liberty City. Burn it to the ground.
Does the word duh mean anything to you?
Yeah, I chose this profession, so therefore I earned beer.
You want to go to the matinee?
The feeling is definitely there.
You don't know my name!
It's a new morning in America.
This is the old dude, Howard J. Reynolds. Step into my office.
Not going to be too many punks.
Don't you stop worrying about the punk?
Fuck you! That's my name.
Yeah, let's go to the punk rock show.
Introducing, for your listening pleasure,
Here it is. Here we go. Episode 86 of the High Fives podcast. Michael,
Nathan, how are you?
good. You?
I'm living large.
Yeah, living large.
I don't know. I don't know why that came up.
How large are you living?
You know, I'm in a closet right now here, surrounded by board
That
games. That's
Doesn't sound large.
It's like living the life, right? Recording a podcast that doesn't offer us any monetary value. It just costs money to do. It's great, eh? That's living large, right?
Yeah, I feel those cost money to do the podcast in, like, I think it's December where all the money comes due.
Yeah.
It's a horrible
It's like the worst time to ask for more money.
But there they are. Hey, High Fives, we need more money. If you were with us last month, you will remember that we are doing a reboot of the very first season of the High Fives podcast. So we are redoing episode 2. I'm not going to go through the why. I'm hoping most people heard the why last month. If you're brand new, it doesn't really affect you.
Basically, the other episodes sucked for numerous reasons. So we're just...
Not all of them, just the first 11, Mike.
Yeah.
Not the other, I can't do the quick math, but 70 something.
We were learning how to swim.
We were learning. That's right. There was a lot of learning. And then we just decided when we started posting them to the regular streaming networks that we wouldn't include those in the new stream.
Yeah.
Right?
We didn't want to cross those streams.
No, definitely don't cross the stream. So if you looked ahead, or rather looked behind, to episode 2 of the High Fives podcast, because if you go to the website, I don't know if people go to the website, Mike.
I hope people go to the website. That's one of those costs that come in December.
If you go to the website, you can spoil this for this moment, not the whole podcast, just this moment. And you would find out that episode 2 was the top 5 side projects episode. And that's what we're doing today. Episode 86, like episode 2, the top 5 side projects. I thought this one was way later in the catalog. Like, for this to come up episode 2 is a little bit surprising to me. Was it surprising to you?
I don't know if it was surprising because I looked it up. It wasn't that exciting to find out that it was episode 2.
Well, I didn't think it was exciting necessarily, but surprising, I think, was the word I used. Like, didn't you think it was further down the dais?
I don't know. I have no opinion about this story.
You'd be great in improv, Mike. Just really good in improv. So, do you think we should go to the store? Yes. Okay, let's go to the store. Now we're walking to the store. Hey, did you see that bird over there? No. Okay, here we go to the like, this would be improv with Mike.
Just
hell, absolute hell.
If you knew Mike, I'm going to refer to myself in the third person here.
Mike, did you pick any songs from the first time we did this episode? Did you pick any groups from the first time you did this episode?
I did not.
You went net new.
Yeah, and you?
Yeah, I went net new too. I was actually a little bit, again, surprised by my first time list. I felt like it was a lot of easy grabs. I don't want to say not the thought, because I always feel like I put thought into the list. But like this time around, after we've done this for 8 years, it was a very different list than it was the first time we did it.
I didn't even look at our list, to be honest. So I'm assuming I didn't pick, because I would try to pick some newer stuff. Just
I assume.
No, I think I tried to pick newer bands because I assumed last time I didn't. Something a little bit more relevant, I guess. Other than I did want to pick that Dream Car band, which is like the AFI No Doubt thing, but only because I believe that when I said I didn't hate it in the WhatsApp chat, and this is at the very start of the WhatsApp chat, I got a lot of hate from certain people.
I don't think I know this band at all. What do you mean AFI and No Doubt? Like it's a Davey Havok project?
Davey Havok, and then everybody in No Doubt except for Gwen.
Oh, wow.
It's called Dream Car.
I've never heard of it. Never once. I just thought he had Black Audio.
No, he had a few.
AFI.
I almost picked a really random one where he had a straight edge band, but like it was a cut because it's a little bit older.
All right.
But yeah, Dream Car. I like them. Most people don't.
I don't really know what to think of it. No Doubt with Davey Havok.
I dug my heels in and liked it, and I still like it.
Was it like ska too?
No,
or
it was more like new agey kind of like not new agey,
Okay.
no, new wavy. Sorry, not new agey. It wasn't Enya. Although I would love if it was Enya now.
No, you
No,
wouldn't.
nah.
No.
I am curious to see if we'll get lists for this one because when I was doing research, there was a lot of side projects I found out about that I didn't know were side projects. So I feel like episode 2 was before we really got lists from people. So I'd be curious to see if we found some interesting bands that I didn't know existed.
Well, the thing with the side project that I found a little bit more challenging this time around is like there's a lot of bands that have come out in the last year or two, maybe because of COVID, I don't know. But a lot of bands that have come out in the last year or two that are band members of other bands, but they're former bands. So it's not like they're kicking right now in their main band and then starting this side hustle. It's like they used to be in bands that no longer in those bands, and then somehow picked up a project, but not a side project.
Yeah, that's a little caveat.
Yeah, it was a little bit challenging in that way because there was a good handful of like newer bands that I'm listening to right now that they are not side projects. They're just projects.
And what's your thought on like a solo thing being a side project? Is that considered? That's considered a side project.
That's fine. But then here's the curveball, Mike. Sometimes the solo project is the main project.
Ooh, that's an interesting,
Right?
That's an interesting conundrum.
You got to define it. You got to go in deep and define it.
What I find interesting is when the band side project becomes bigger than the initial project.
Right. I'm excited to hear your list, Mike. I think you've got some good ones in there.
Probably not. You're probably going to be like, oh, that's what you picked.
I don't think I've ever said that. You had some unsuspected picks in our first time around. Like Armalite, I think was one of them. That's still a deep cut band, I feel like.
Are they? Yeah, maybe they are.
Yeah. To me,
Yeah, maybe they
to
are.
me,
Maybe they are
I've-
a deep cut band.
It's the one and only time I've ever heard of
I
them.
feel like they're one of those bands that, like, again, had a following in the States, but nowhere else. Because I would hear a lot about them, and I think that's how I found out about it.
With all the time you spent in the States.
No, just like probably through I guess I discovered them through compilations,
All right.
or like in the old way when you look at liner notes and bands saying like thanks to this band, and then you go check them out the old fashioned way.
Back in the old days, yeah. When you had to walk to concerts uphill both ways. Through the
When
snow.
a concert cost $5 and you got 6 bands, if you brought a can of
Yeah.
food, it was even cheaper, and you were doing a good thing.
That's less than $1 a band. Enough of this. Mike, let me tell you what I've been listening to. I feel like we've had a soft start to 2023 so
yeah,
far.
I was thinking that too. I'm like, I feel like usually out of the gates, there's like the first week slow, but then it like by the end of January, start of February, it really like amps up.
Ramps
I haven't
up,
felt like
yeah.
there's any sort of ramping up, considering,
No.
or maybe there was just too many things that came out last year, or just like I thought it was just going to keep continuing, but it feels like it's like lulled a little bit.
I think the overflow that happened in the last couple of years has finally come to a simmer.
Mm-hmm.
It's no longer boiling over. It's just a simmer. And who knows what this year is going to bring, Mike?
Might have something to do with those balloons and things too, right?
Oh, don't get started on the
Oh yeah, that's for our
balloons,
conspiracy
Mike.
episode, which I guess we can't revisit.
No, thankfully.
No, that episode's the best one. Valiant Thor.
I don't know about the best.
That's my favorite episode. Valiant Thor.
Is it?
Oh, I just think Valiant Thor just made me laugh so much.
You just wanted to bring them up one
No,
more
not the
time.
band. The like story of the real Valiant Thor.
That's our new sponsor, Valiant Thor. This
Ding 'em.
podcast brought to you by Valiant Thor. My first selection tonight, Mike, is White Reaper.
Oh.
They put out a brand new record, Asking for a Ride. You like this one? Is that what the
Yeah, I did. I was
is?
going to put it as one of the ones I was listening to, but I figured you would take it, so I'm glad you did, because it's
Yeah.
such a good album.
It is good. I mean, this band never makes the same album. You can say that for certain. And this one's no exception. Really diverse. Each song is completely its own thing. I felt like track one comes in hot, fast, like a return to skate punk kind of vibe, which was a fairly unexpected start considering the last record. And then track two goes straight for more of like a alternative vibe. Track three is a return to that rock and roll sort of Kiss vibe that is just so incredibly catchy. And on it goes, unexpectedly just changing and morphing the album from song to song. Like, it feels like a bunch of singles put onto an album, but I like it.
Yeah. Somehow it's still cohesive despite all the change ups. And to be honest, I kind of thought it was going to be too produced, too radio. And I thought I thought it was
Totally.
going to go like a Strokesy kind of way, and then you're going to be like, yeah, those are good songs, but I'm never going to go back. And it's just like still another improvement over the last two, which is awesome.
Yeah, not expected, and a very different record from their last one. Speaking about bands that keep getting better with albums, my next selection is the Raging Nathans with, I don't know, is this their 20th release in the last couple
I'm
of years?
sure they have a new one coming out next week.
Maybe. This band doesn't stop. The new one's called Still Spitting Blood. It's a full-length album. They just always seem to have something new, ready and out there. And it doesn't, the crazy thing about it is having something brand new all the time, and it doesn't feel forced. Like, it doesn't feel repetitive. It feels like they're constantly just like leveling up from the one before. And that's no disrespect to the back catalog or the album that comes before, which continue to hold up. It's just, like I say, they continue to level up with every album. This album definitely pulls from like skate punk nostalgia. It's melodic, it's fast, and it's catchy as hell.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't listened to this, but I feel like some of these were the singles that came out in that last little. They did like a flurry of singles at some point last year.
For sure.
And yeah, I agree with you. They just seem to be improving just enough in each album to make you want to listen to it and not be like, oh, they're just rewriting the same album. Like that happens sometimes when bands put out too much. It's just like,
Totally.
okay, well, like I guess you put 10 on this album of the 20 songs you wrote, and you put the other 10 on this album. And it doesn't feel like that. It feels like they're like, okay, we did good on that last release. Let's see if we can just push the envelope a little bit more and let's get a little bit better.
Well said, Mike. Well said. My third selection is not a group, really, more of a singer-songwriter, but not in like, I always think folk whenever I think singer-songwriter. This is not that. Lincoln is the artist. The album is Everything Is Wrong. Have you heard of Lincoln?
I have not.
Mike? So from what I can tell, Lincoln has always been a solo act. This album is true to its title, Everything Is Wrong. There are songs filled with sadness, insecurity, and often feels like an intimate glimpse into someone's diary. It's vocals accompanied by piano, guitar, and also a full band from time to time throughout the album. This album is complex and reveals new things each time I listen to it. An album that I definitely keep coming back to.
Cool. I'll have to check it out.
This was a stretch to find a fourth this time around. A real stretch. A real...
A lunge?
Yeah, like a lateral lunge.
Like a reach.
Yeah. Yeah, like back and forth, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Really getting low. This last one is Bottle Kids. Do you know Bottle Kids, Mike?
I know the name. I feel like
All right.
they're like skate punky, right? Is it something to do with one of the guys from Swellers or something? Or
I don't think so.
okay, I'm making that up.
These guys are from Chepstow, UK.
Definitely not them.
No, definitely not. When in doubt. Is he in a project with the Swellers guys? He is not. Zilch is the EP, came out in 2022. It's important to note that Bottle Kids is spelt in all one word because, funny enough, there is another Bottle Kids. 2 words is the other Bottle Kids out in the world, actually not just out in the world, but also in the UK. And the 2-word Bottle Kids are a cover band who claim, quote, "We can't wait to rock your faces." So I'll let you decide what covers they would do. 1-word Bottle Kids, though, are not a cover band. Zilch is a straight ahead, no funny business punk rock record. Well, EP, 6 songs at 16 minutes about being fed up with the current state of the world, the state of people, and the realization that there's little hope. So it's right up my alley.
Yeah, there is little hope, hey?
Very little, Mike. The Balloons prove that.
Oh, yes, the Balloons.
Mike, what have you been listening to?
None of these albums are really new albums, but they are albums I've been listening to this last little while. And I've done some revisiting of some stuff in the old collection here.
Excellent. There's no rules. There's no rules,
No,
Mike. You can do. All right.
I like to break the rules. I'm a rebel.
You're such. Let me hear you yell.
Anyway, first band is a band that I believe someone from the WhatsApp group sent us because they are from Australia. I vaguely remembered listening to it and kind of forgot about it until last week. But since I rediscovered it, I've been all over it. And the band is Protospasm. Do you know Protospasm?
I do not.
And their album is Unreachable Summit. It's just like a solid punk rock album with like hardcore tendencies. Very just melodic skate punk hardcore. I don't know, like Good Riddance-y, but like a little not the same as Good Riddance. Like just that genre. I don't know how you describe that genre. But
I think you did a great job, Mike.
Thanks, Nate.
Yeah.
Anyway, great album. I recommend picking it up if you're into that sort of thing. Another one's an older album by a band called I Hate Sex. And the album's called Circle Thinking. I Hate Sex were a screamo band from Edmonton. And I can't remember how I came across them, but I've been really into this album. I guess I'm feeling angry and sad like a teenager. So I'm liking a lot of screamo again.
You guess.
Jokes aside, album's great. It's worth giving a spin. I don't think they're around anymore, but you can find their albums online pretty easy. Another one is an album that I saw pop up on a few lists. Finally got around to checking out. It's a band called The Haunted Youth. Do you know The Haunted Youth?
I do not.
It's probably not on brand for the podcast. It's kind of like indie pop from Belgium. I didn't think I'd like it because I thought it was going to be kind of just standard indie rock, but I found myself enjoying it more and more. There's shades of a band called like M83 and Death Cab or some other bedroom indie rock stuff. But I'm probably like screwing up those comparisons, but that's what happens when someone who isn't well versed in a genre tries to compare bands. Like, when you don't know enough about a genre, so you're just like, sounds like the ones I've heard before.
Yeah.
That's what I felt like. But I really like this album. Lyrically, it's pretty cool. And just find myself listening to a lot when I'm driving around. Last one is another screamo hardcore band from California. The band is Numers. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but I think I am. It's
Are you
KN.
sure it's not numbers?
It could be numbers. It's KNUEMERS.
But no B.
No.
All right. Well, then I don't think it's numbers.
The album's called A Shout to Sea. It came out at the end of last year, like I think at the end of December. Had I known, it probably would be a contender for my year-end list. If you told me this came out in like 1995, I totally believe you. Right down to the artwork, it looks like something Indian Summer put out, and just sounds a lot like even recording style like basement screamo bands from that era. And this is like a total CalCon reference, but it reminds me of Jewel. So if you're into that sort of thing, check it out. I've been listening to this song "Our Flag Means Death" like nonstop all week, so check it out.
So much screaming, Mike.
Told you, angry teenager.
Yeah. What's happened? What's
Life.
going on?
Balloons.
Yeah, life. Got it. Balloons. Yeah. It gets me going too.
Yeah.
Let's do the list, Mike. We've been talking a long time. Let's get to the list. Let's do it.
I can't wait to hear what you got.
All right.
That's a lie.
I'm
I
a
can't
little
wait
bit-
to tell you what I've got.
I'm kind of surprised I didn't have this one on the first time around that we did this. I don't know why. And as I was making decisions for my top 5, this one jumped out, and I've revisited it a lot over the last week or two. Only Crime is the band.
Oh, nice.
I chose the album To the Nines, which came out in 2004. For anybody who doesn't know, I'm sure we all do, but you know what? Let's delve a little into the history of Only Crime. It started in 2002. The band at the time of formation was Russ Rankin from Good Riddance, Bill Stevenson from Descendants, Aaron Dolbeck from Bane, Zach Blair from Rise Against, and Donnie Blair from the Toadies and Hagfish. Story goes that in 2002, on the heels of Symptoms of a Leveling Spirit, Russ didn't feel like Good Riddance was doing much. He wanted to tour more. The band kind of felt like it was fizzling. So when Good Riddance would go in to record their next album at the Blasting Room with the one and only Bill Stevenson, Russ would ask Bill to join a new project he was pursuing. Soon after that, Aaron Dolbeck and the Blair brothers would join, forming a legit supergroup. Supergroup, Mike. It's a supergroup.
Love a supergroup.
This first record definitely has a Good Riddance vibe, much more than Shades, but like an older version of the band at the time. So not like the 2003 version of the band. That album that came out in 2003 was Bound by Ties of Blood and Affection. You know, Good Riddance had a little bit of that dry spell.
Yep. In my opinion, other people have disagreed, but I agree with you.
That's just my hot take. I mean, that Good Riddance sound is likely largely attributed to Russ on vocal. Hard to get away from his distinct voice. But that said, you do hear like other contributions from the other musicians in this band. It was a welcomed return to the past of Good Riddance at the time. This album is just let's go from track one. I was lucky enough to see them years ago it was like one of those basement places that's not the Distiller. It doesn't matter. But like it was a Wednesday night. I think there was 12 people in the room. It was like one of those stories. And to see a group like that and no one really showed up for them, though that kind of sucked for them, I'm sure. It was awesome to be in that room.
I didn't know Bill Stevenson was in this band.
Yeah.
They were a straight edge band too, right? That was the difference between Good Riddance. I think was, if I remember correctly from the press stuff when I was working at the record store, they sold it as a straight edge band, like where Good Riddance wasn't technically a straight edge band, but this was a straight edge band.
That could be true. I mean, Russ was very much like, I think he was frustrated with the fact that he was kind of leading this life of sobriety and other bandmates in Good Riddance weren't. And so I think he was kind of looking for that in a new project.
Mm-hmm.
To sew this all up, by the second album in 2007, the Blair brothers would leave, being replaced by Matt Hoffman from Modern Life is War and Dan Kelly. And Good Riddance would then go on hiatus for the next 5 years. So
Good Riddance is on a 5-year hiatus. That's crazy.
Yeah, it
I
is
didn't know. That
crazy.
makes sense in my head. I guess 5 years goes by fast when you get older.
Because I think, I mean, after that, yeah, there was a big gap between albums, right?
Mhm.
I chose the song Pray For Me. I love this album, and I have loved revisiting it over the last couple of weeks.
I had this on a list for me as well, only because I don't think I listened to this album when it came out. I didn't, for some reason, I always get them and Crime in Stereo mixed up.
Yeah, okay.
And I think maybe like when we started this podcast, maybe I started listening to it again and I was like, oh man, this is really good. I can't believe I let this like slip through my fingers. But all right, my turn, I suppose. Hey,
Well, let me do a quick look around the room.
no one else here.
Yeah, it's going to be you next.
All right. I can do this. The first song I picked or album I picked was one of the albums that was high on my list of albums that I loved last year. The artist is Christian Blunda. The album is Funky Punks in Space. If you don't know, Funky Punks in Space is a solo side project from Blunda, who is in the Mean Jeans, and I love Mean Jeans. If you do, you probably know about this. If not, maybe this slipped off the radar for you. But yeah, it's a great album. It's got a Mean Jeans feel to it, but way more synths, and a lot of the songs are about space. So there is a little bit of like an 80s feel to it too. Like there's some synthesizer interludes between songs. Anyway, I may have mentioned in my year-end podcast, if you listened, that when I first picked it up, I thought it'd be just like a gimmicky album. But the more and more I listened to it, the more and more I found myself loving it. I kind of think it's better than the last Mean Jeans album. And it's definitely worth picking up if you're a fan of that style of punk rock. Did you listen to this at all or no?
I did. Yeah, I definitely get that you dig it.
Yeah.
It's
very
it wasn't
me, eh?
for me. Yeah, it wasn't for me, which isn't to say that it's just not for me. But yeah, I think the synth very much lends itself to the 80s aesthetic. It's very of a time.
Yeah, it's got that feel to it, hey? Like a little bit new wavy.
See, I don't think I would connect if I didn't know he was in Mean Jeans. I don't know that I would connect it.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah.
Have I ever told you? Well, I took one of our buddies to see Mean Jeans when I first found out about him, and he still tells me like how horrible that show was and how much he hated them. I'll let you figure out which one of our friends said that.
Was it a good show or not a good show?
Yeah, it was awesome. It was great.
Oh,
it was Canada Day. They played at the Republic.
I feel like it would be a mixed bag. Like you wouldn't really know what to expect from a band like that. Because
they were just partying hard.
Yeah, which can sometimes lead to not a good show.
Yeah, I think for these kind of guys though, it like works. I don't think the Mean Jeans like songs are like super complicated, so they sold it as a fun time.
Fair. Only Crime, Pray For Me, and
Christian Blunda, Inside a Black Hole.
It's strange, all the ways we suffer everything it's real. Like the trials we impose to disappear. Find out straight from the course of least resistance, losing sight of the prize, like a faded distant star. Forced it down with the rest of the bitterness and humility, not less than the air. You simply breathe and sterilize. Say a prayer for me, I'm still haunted and so stark, separated from my sins, too tired to forgive. Say it's everything I've lost.
So the other struggle in this sometimes while I was, trying to form this list was like there are some groups that have like a member leave and they go on hiatus for a short time and then they find a new member to get the band going again, but it's without the main member. And then they go for a little while, but as soon as the person who left in the beginning comes back, then that new band kind of goes away. Following that?
I kind of got lost, but I feel like I'm dumb. So other people, I respect our listeners that they figured it out.
So the band, just to wrap your head around it, that I was thinking of was The Draft. So The Draft started after Chuck left and they put out a record. So it's just basically Hot Water Music without Chuck Reagan. They put out a record, put out a couple of EPs. Chuck comes back. Draft kind of goes quiet, but plays a couple shows here and there. But they weren't really like a side project, more of like a keep it going project. Like let's keep
Hot Water going
this
without
thing
Chuck.
going. Well, yeah, exactly. But that said, I did see a festival where Hot Water played and The Draft played, which is kind of weird, right?
Did they both do Fest, maybe? Yeah.
But like, I don't think The Draft is like it's not like All, right? Like where Milo leaves the Descendants. And then, I mean, it's similar in that way, but I would argue that like, though they're not putting out new records, All probably tours a lot more than The Draft does, or did at least for a period of time. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Did you pick The Draft last time or did I? I feel like one of us did. Maybe not.
I didn't. No, I didn't.
Or maybe I just thought one of us should have picked The Draft. Maybe that's what I was thinking. Anyway.
It's a great record. That full length is awesome. And I feel like you could pick it, but it's probably incorrect. It's technically incorrect. I just wanted to make that point.
You don't think it's a side project?
I don't think so.
Huh. I would have considered it a side project.
Like I say, it was a keep it going band. It wasn't a side project.
Okay. That's fair. Is it because the singer sings in Hot Water as well? I say different name makes it okay to be a side project, but I see where you're going with this too. So you didn't actually take The Draft. You're just giving us an example of what this is.
I'm just giving you an example because it was hard. Like coming up with this list of side projects, there were a lot of obstacles just like this.
Mm-hmm.
I thought way too long and hard about this episode, Mike. I think that's been the progression of this podcast is like when we first started, I would just be like, yeah, sure. I'll show up at your house and we'll talk into some microphones. And now I spend like hours writing this stuff to get ready.
But I like it.
Yeah, I like it too. It's better.
I respect your research.
Well, thanks, Mike. Now I just have to flex my research every once in a while in the podcast.
You flex away.
Oh, that's what I'm doing.
They don't call you little buff boy for no reason.
Oh, I'm glad you remembered. My second selection for this evening is a group that began, well, it's not even really a group. It's a solo project that doesn't sound like a solo project.
Okay.
It's a solo project that began as a bedroom recording project in 2010 under the name Dad Punchers.
Oh.
It's a great name.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know who this is?
Well, yes, I do. You know why, Nathan?
Good.
Because this is on my list.
Because it's on your list.
It is on my list.
Yeah.
We did it.
Let's do them. Let's do them back to back.
All right.
Just make the adjustment.
Yeah.
You actually brought this band to me and not band, solo project. It doesn't sound like a solo project. That's why I keep not referring to it that way. You actually brought this one to me and I have loved it ever since the first song you played, Mike. Warm Thoughts is the project. I Went Swimming Alone is the album I chose from that came out in 2018. The bedroom recording artist is Elliot Babin. Babin?
I go with Babin.
Of Touche Amore. More impressively, and I didn't realize this till just today, not only are all of the songs written by Elliot, but he also plays all of the instruments on this record, which is pretty rare for a drummer, hence the solo project. Musically, it's a huge departure from Touche Amore. Lyrically, it's just raw, vulnerable, exposed, and poetic. I have been eagerly awaiting a follow-up to this 2018 album and am still waiting.
Still waiting
Elliot,
around, eh?
I'm still waiting. Should I tell you what song, or should I let you talk and then we'll say the song together and see if we pick the same song too? Because that would be great. That would be a moment where we're really synced up, Mike.
Yeah, I think
We're synced up.
I think you covered everything other than when I did a little bit of reading, it said the album came out of an isolation from coming home after tour and spending time with all these people and then suddenly being alone. And I feel like when you listen to the lyrics of a lot of the songs, you really get that. And
Yeah.
that's it. That's about everything else you sort of covered covered. Other than that, it came out on Asian Man Records. That's also kind of cool. Asian Man's a good label.
Yeah.
I trust.
It is a
I
good
trust,
label.
Trust Mike Park with most suggestions.
Yeah. This one is it's surprising. Like on lots of levels.
Yeah, and I'll agree it does not sound like a solo project because it's so full and because there's so many instruments. It's not like a singer-songwriter thing at all. It's basically a band, but it's cool to learn that he literally played everything on it and wrote everything.
Yeah.
So, other than if I think the difference between Dad Punchers and this is that he had a producer on this one, where in Dad Punchers he produced it.
Well, I think Dad Punchers was very much like a demo from the bedroom.
Yeah.
Like I think that was the demo recordings. But you definitely hear where the band or where his vision, I should say, went.
Mm-hmm.
Even in those early recordings.
Mm-hmm. So what song did you pick?
Should we do to the count of 3?
Are we singing at the same time?
Yeah.
Does that make for
let's
good
see if
radio? Because I feel like that's bad radio.
If we chose the same song,
Okay.
then it's going to sound great.
Okay.
You do the harmony. I'll do the main. Okay.
Do we even name the album?
No, we're just saying the song title right now, Mike. That's it. Just the song title. All right. Ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Romance Novelist. You left me hanging. Is that what you chose? Did you choose that
I chose
one?
Your Haircut Man.
You already chose that song.
When?
The first time I heard this
Did I play it on an
artist,
episode?
You played that song.
Oh.
You played this song. I have played The Pier off of this album once before as well. So this is its 3rd and 4th appearance on our podcast.
Well, Nathan, we'll just play your song. We don't need to hear Your Haircut Man.
Feel like we do.
No, just play your song. It's all good.
We're just going to do one? It feels wrong. It feels weird.
Just play your one song. It's all good.
Are you sure?
100%.
All right.
If I've played this already, then the people can go and find that episode where I played it and go for it.
The song you chose is definitely my favorite on that album.
Mm-hmm.
But lots of good, there's not a bad song on this.
Yeah.
Do you want to pick another one? Do you want to do an audible?
No. Just go with one song. It's all good.
All right. One song it is.
Yeah.
Warm Thoughts.
I Went Swimming Alone.
Romance Novelist.
Make up the rest. Walk through your town silently. We don't have to hold hands. You can inside a daydream, inside a daydream, inside a daydream, inside a daydream. There's no awkward conversation, and we go hiking every weekend with all your dogs, and with every dog you've ever owned, you've ever owned, you've ever owned, you've ever owned.
In 86 episodes, I think that's only happened twice before, where we picked the same artist. I don't think we've ever picked the same album, but we picked the same artist, I think. Maybe we have picked the same album.
Maybe. There's a couple times where you were super stoked on it.
I was? You weren't. Just me?
No. Yeah, just you. I don't think it's as exciting when we pick the same one.
I mean, it's a testament to the different teams that there are. There is a very distinct Team Moke vibe and a very distinct Team Nate vibe.
This is true.
Not that there's a competition. And if there were, it's friendly.
It's friendly.
That was the most unfriendly way of saying it's friendly.
It's friendly. I'm not.
It's friendly. Say it with a smile, Mike.
This is like improv all over again.
Do you think we're going to double up again?
There's a chance.
I thought that one might be it. There's at least one more that I think could double up. And I saved it from my end. My last pick.
Audible was only crime, so that's hilarious.
Amazing. So there's no Audible is what you're saying. Like we're going.
No, I mean, I could come up with an Audible in my head, but I'm not going to fuck around like that.
This is pick for pick.
Yeah.
Again, if you're just joining us for the first time, this is a surprise for me as it is for Mike. We don't discuss the list prior to. That's the best part of this whole thing. It's full of surprises.
You said that about a lot of things. You said the prank, the joke at the end is the best part.
There's lots of best parts, Mike.
The best part is me hanging out with you, Nate.
But we're not even in the same room, Mike. We're not even in the same place.
That's true.
We're doing this with computers. It's not hanging out.
Well, at least I didn't get an AI bot to write my write-ups.
Dude, don't get me started on AI. Like,
let's not go there.
Let's not do it. Let's not do it. Let's go to my pick 3.
Leave that for the balloons.
Yeah. The balloons can discuss AI. My third pick is a band that comes from the brain of a man in 100 bands. Let me list some of those bands for you now. One Man Army, Dead to Me, Swingin' Utters, The Revolts, and the band that made this list, Toy Guitar.
Oh, you love this band, hey?
I do. I do like Toy Guitar a lot. The man I'm speaking of is Jack Dalrymple. I love most things that Jack Dalrymple touches. I really love his songwriting, and it comes through, but in different ways in all of these projects. This band, Toy Guitar, feels like the true side project of all of these bands, just for kind of how things lined up and what he was playing in at the time that Toy Guitar got together. Though he has had big influence throughout all of his projects, none sound the same. And I think that's a big win because, you know, especially if you're the singer, not to say he sang in all those projects, but especially when you're the singer, things can really start to sound similar when you go project to project. And these are all their own thing. This band has 2 EPs and 1 full-length record to their credit. This album is just super catchy, straight ahead driving, garage rock, melodic, pop punk. Toy Guitar, I chose a song from their full-length album, In This Mess, and the song is called Human Hyenas. So on my iTunes account, where I downloaded the album, purchased, then downloaded back in 2015, the song's just called Hyenas. But if you look at it on Spotify, the streaming service, it's called Human Hyenas.
That's a weird thing.
Isn't that interesting, Mike?
Little bit. Sounds like it's a problem for those balloons.
Was Toy Guitar on your radar? Was it an Audible?
No, Toy Guitar wasn't on my radar at all. I didn't even know Toy Guitar was a side project, to be honest.
Wow. Well, now you know.
See?
The more
You learn things.
you know.
Is One Man Army a side project even?
No, that was the first one. That was the first
that's
band.
The first band?
Yeah. So I wouldn't call that a side project. Like I say, this one, like how the dates and of releases and tours kind of line up, this one feels like the most side project of them all.
I suppose you'd like me to go now?
Hold on. Let me check.
We've done this before. No one else is around.
All right. Sorry, I couldn't remember.
Yeah. Nor could I. I wasn't paying attention. This is an album that came out last year again. It's an EP. The band is Crisis Party. The album is called Welcome to the Party. Do you know Crisis Party?
Only through you, Mike.
Okay. Well, Crisis Party are a band from Ottawa and features Maddie Grace of Cluttered, Future Girls, and the Maddie Grace solo project, Anthony of the Flying Hellfish, and Jeff. And I know Jeff's in some bands, but I don't know Jeff or what bands he's in.
Shout out, Jeff.
I think they refer to him as Ska Jeff on the write-up. I don't know what that means.
I feel like it's a nickname he likely hates.
Yeah, probably. And this is one of those ones I was on the fence of calling a side project because Future Girls is no more. But they did put out an EP last year. And I don't know what's going on with Cluttered because Cluttered is from the Maritimes and Maddie Grace now lives in Ottawa. So I don't know if Cluttered is still going on, but they also released something last year. So all three were released last year. This came out on Dirt Cult Records, and you can probably guess that it has that same sort of gritty DIY production to it, which Dirt Cult's known for.
I think you can call this a side project, but I'd be curious to know what you would refer to as the main project.
Well, Future Girls was first for Maddie Grace. Cluttered might have been the side project, but like I said, Future Girls is definitely done.
But they put out a record last year, you said.
An EP last year as like a farewell thing.
All right.
Then Maddie Grace has the solo album that's coming out now. The Flying Hellfish are still together as far as I know.
So many bands.
Yeah, so like there's a lot going on. I consider it a side project.
Yeah, I do too.
Anyway, great album, great EP. It's a short listen. If you like Cluttered, I think you would like this band a lot. It's got the same sort of lyrical contact, maybe a little bit darker than Cluttered. Maddie Grace transitioned over the last couple of years, so I think a lot of the lyrics have to do with that sort of thing. And the song I picked was Aching, which is really good.
Not the same pick.
No, not the same pick at all.
Picks, different picks. Toy Guitar, Human Hyenas, or maybe just Hyenas. And
Crisis Party, Welcome to the Party, and the song is Aching.
I don't feel your time.
Mike, have you seen the new trend out there that's on the socials?
Is it big shoes? Because I've seen big shoes.
No, I don't know what that is.
Well, look
I
it
feel
up.
like these come in as TikToks, but I don't know what a TikTok is. So I see them on the Instagram Reels probably 3 months after they're created. But so maybe this is an old trend. Maybe it's not. I don't know. But it's like these people playing like emo riffs on their guitar. And just before the guitar drops, it's got like a dramatic movie or TV clip that like starts it.
Oh yeah, I love it.
And then it like bleeds into the song or like bleeds into the emo riff going on. Have you seen these?
Yes, they're great because
They're so good.
Because like real emo, like not real emo, that's a shitty term, but like a lot of that Midwest emo from that time, that's one of the great things about it is the use of sound clips in that specific way.
But like sometimes they, pull from like I feel like the one that got me the other day, I don't think I would actually hear in a song, but it was the scene where Marlin is telling Dory from Finding Nemo that he's had enough. He's going back. He's given up. And it like put me in a state, man. Like having that guitar, that sparkly guitar over top of that.
It's great, man. I love that.
Man, really good.
Yeah.
There's a couple of guys that I follow that like just that's all they do. And I love the content. Keep the content coming. I thought this was number 5, but it's only number 4.
It's only number 4. We're going slow.
This one comes from another man of 1,000 bands. Maybe not 1,000, maybe even less than Jack Dalrymple, but it feels like he's in a lot of bands. These bands are Bound, Kid Dynamite, None More Black, On Guard, Lagretia, and Former Member. There might even be more. Until today, I'd never heard of Bound, On Guard, or Lagretia. Actually, Lagretia I heard earlier this week. So before this week, I had never heard of those 3. These, of course, are all bands of Jason Shevchuk. You would probably recognize None More Black and Kid Dynamite as like the main bands that he was in. Had you ever heard of Lagretia? Lagretia?
You know what? The name sounds familiar, but I can't pinpoint it.
When Former Member came out, I was really stoked because I really like None More Black.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're an acquired taste, or you either like them or you don't. Like it's very divisive. You're on one side or the other. There's not a lot of people that are like, yeah, they're okay. Like it's either, and I think his voice probably has a lot to do with it.
I would 100% agree with you.
I really like his voice, and hence why I like None More Black. But Former Member felt like it was a lot different than None More Black. Like they had definitely taken a different path, which I think is great. But I think I was looking for more of that sound, and it wasn't that when it came out. So when I found this, Lagretia definitely has a None More Black feel and sound. Like it's almost like the Lost Tapes, but then there's also something a little different slammed in there. There's almost like a soul or like a funk vibe to some of the songs, which you're probably like, and how does that fit, Nate? And I don't know how it fits, Mike, but I like it. Lagretia was formed amidst the first None More Black breakup, which would later be revealed as only a hiatus. And while Jason was starting his solo project, On Guard, which was intended to be more of a laid-back approach to music, once Lagretia started gaining some writing traction, Jason pulled the plug on the solo thing and poured all his writing into this project. He said, quote, "The fact is I'm a screamer, not a crooner. And lately I feel like I've got a lot to scream about." So that's Lagretia. One album, On Parallels, came out in 2008. And the song I chose is Hey Medic.
Hey Medic. That's a good title. I like that. I like that, Nate. My next band is a band also with someone that's in quite a few projects here and there. Maybe not 1,000 like your picks, but a few here or there. A scattering, if you will.
A smattering, maybe.
A smattering. Well,
yeah.
all right. Maybe even a smattering. Not a slathering, though, right? No one's getting slathered. Well, he made
No, definitely not a slathering.
like a good slathering. The band is Radar Strays, and it features members of the Get Up Kids, the Anniversary, the Architects, and the Gadgets. The album Strays came out in January of 2019 on Wiretap Records. I guess this is sort of like one of those quote unquote super groups, as we discussed a second ago, because of the members. But one of the cool things is you can hear each sort of influence on all the songs. So like there are songs that sound like Matt Pryor and have a very Get Up Kidsy, and then you can hear the ones that Josh Berwanger has an influence on. And then there are songs on there where the combo of them makes it sound like something that's a little bit different than both those things, which is what really sold me on the album. Because like the first few tracks sound like, oh, these are Get Up Kid songs, good Get Up Kid songs, but they're Get Up Kid songs. The song I stood out to me was called Making Me Feel, and it just has a real power pop feel to it. And that's where I feel like you get both the Get Up Kids and the Anniversary and a Gadget sort of sound to it all in one track. And I was all over it. So yeah. Do you like this album?
I do. I didn't know that there was a member of the Gadgets in it. Like
the drummer.
The Gadgets. What a pull that is, Mike.
It's the drummer.
The drummer.
Mm-hmm.
I really like those Gadgets records. I like the Anniversary. I like the Get Up Kids. And I like this band.
Makes sense if you like all three.
Checks all the boxes. Yeah, definitely. They have just one album or two?
Just the one, as far as I know. Maybe there might be an EP or something before this full length, but I don't think I've ever heard it. Or it might have just been demos or something. I feel like there might be, or like even like a sampler thing that was put out to kind of push the band and see where it went.
Did you see that the Get Up Kids put out a new cover just the other day?
Yeah, it was okay.
Home on the Range.
Yeah.
Like, what? That's like covering Happy Birthday.
Is it part of that thing like Happy Birthday where you don't have to pay for it anymore?
I don't know, maybe. But I just thought, what an odd pull that is.
I'm guessing it is for something. Like maybe it's going on a comp or something. I thought it was a weird pull myself.
See, again, the streaming, no context. The streaming provides zero context. If it were on a comp,
Nate, everyone knows you hate streaming.
More sense. There might be new people here, Mike. You know?
Okay.
I don't want them. I don't want them being confused. I just want to be up front.
All right.
You done?
Why don't you tell the people what song you picked again?
Lucrezia, Hey Medic, and
Radar State, Making Me Feel.
I'll ever get to feeling close to home, then I don't wanna home. If I could just close my eyes, wake up melted from all the guises, the secrets that you hold, the truths that go untold. So lost in rhythm, monotonous and trying. You can call me jaded, you can call me whatever you like. Just need a song, oh, just need a song to wash your soul. Redeeming me every time, but I don't think that I'll ever wait for us. in my favor, but would that do the trick? It might not do the trick. Well, I'm lost in seasons, it makes me feel kind of shitty. You can call it depression, you can call it whatever you want. The saddest songs, oh, the saddest songs take me over. They leave my lips every night. And I try, and I try, and I try, and I try. Now we dance, and we stumble, but we rekindle what used to be romantic. And we live, don't know how. The blood, the brain, the bone, the pain is living. Woo! You're driving me crazy with everything you do. You know you're driving me crazy when I think about you. You got me staying up all night, but it ain't so bad. You got me staying up all night, plus I had. You're making me feel. You're making me, now you got me so dizzy. I don't know where I am. Now you got me so dizzy. I don't give a damn. I see you standing in the moonlight, right where you should be. I see you standing in the moonlight, waiting for me. You're making me feel. You're making me feel like this could last forever. Hold me close, it's now or never. Feel like this could last forever. Hold me close, it's now or never. The morning sun begins to rise. I see that sparkle in your eyes. You're making me feel. 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 You're making me feel.
Thank you to everyone who is still listening to the podcast and who is contributing to it in any way, whether it's in our chat, making a list, or just plain old pretending to care when you talk to Nate or myself about it. I hope we may have convinced you to maybe check out a band or an album that you may have missed in the shuffle. Make sure you send in your lists. You can check us out online at highfives.ca for previous episodes. You can check us out on most social networks. You can find us. It's not hard. If you want to leave a nice review, please do. Or even better, tell a friend to listen. That probably goes a lot further than most things. And yeah, the world seems to be kind of rotting these days. So these little interactions that we get from you guys, and this talks and this intersection of pop culture and music helps keep people like Nate and myself sane. So we love hearing from you. And like, again, thank you so much for listening and for being a part of this podcast. I think that's it. I think that's all I have to say, Nate.
I feel like last episode didn't get a lot of lists. I think we got.
Yeah, I was wondering, did people hate that we've rebooted? Are we Night Court?
No, we're not Night Court. Like, Bull is still here. I mean, you can't have a show like Night Court and not have Bull in it.
Yeah.
Or Harry. Right?
Well, Harry's dead.
Like, no, I know. I think Bull is too.
No, we looked it up. Bull's alive.
Is he?
Yeah. I thought you told me he was alive.
He just said no?
Or something. Maybe.
That's more surprising.
Yeah, what's Bull got going on?
But like, no, I don't think it was that people don't like that we're doing it. I think that maybe that was one of those ones where it was too big. It wasn't specific enough. That's
fair.
Right? We've had a lot of pushback or zero pushback, maybe is a better way of saying it, on the episodes where it's like, it's too big. It's too wide open. It's too broad stroke. Yeah. The people like it to be more specific. So this is maybe we'll get a lot on this one.
Maybe we will.
Let's go to number 5, Mike. The last pick of the night. This one I thought maybe was coming. So I'm glad that maybe it's your number 5 too. Is this the one you thought we might cross over again for you?
No, I thought Radar State.
Oh, okay. Good.
But maybe we'll cross on this one. Who knows?
Well, let's get to it.
Is it Skiba with Blink-182? Is that a side project?
No. I feel like it could be. You could argue that, but I don't really like any of those songs. So I wouldn't pick it. But somebody might, and that's okay because that's their preference.
I like Skiba 182.
Not mine. Do you?
Yeah. If it wasn't called Blink-182, I think people would like it more.
Do you?
Yeah.
I think people like it because it's called Blink-182.
Well, there's probably chunks of people.
More people.
I'll be honest, I'm not a big Blink-182 fan. Like, I could listen to a song or not. Like, I don't care. They're not my, they're not my be all and end all. Where I know a lot of people love them. So I'm not going to rag on them. They are what they are. But for some reason, I just like this. I like the Skiba tracks. It's something a little bit different. But anyway, that's a long thing we don't need to talk about. Sorry for stealing your thunder.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like rain now. There's no thunder. Zero thunder, Mike. Where was I? Well, according to Discogs, this guy has been in at least 10 bands. Most of them I'd never heard of before this week. That guy is Jeff Burke. He's one of those guys that just has a constant flood of music pouring out of him. In an interview, he said, quote, when he writes, it's often without a particular band in mind, which always kind of like surprises me. I always think like guys that are in that many bands, they must have to write specifically for that band, but to just have music flowing out of you and then kind of figure it out later, I don't know. It's crazy. I always think of Jeff Burke's main band as the Marksmen, maybe because it's the most well-known. I don't know. They have, I think, the most albums out of all the bands that he's been in, but don't quote me on that. My favorite of his bands, though, or at least the ones I've listened to, is Radioactivity, which was actually a continuation of his band, The Novice, which he fronted while living in Japan. When he came back to Texas, he changed the name of the band out of respect to the members that he played with in Japan. And Radioactivity, for those of you who don't know, is a driving lo-fi garage punk rock sound. It's raw, bare bones, and it's just awesome, Mike. It's just awesome. The first time I heard these guys was at their show. I'd never actually heard them before. And then a buddy of mine was like, hey, do you want to go to a show tonight? And I was like, yeah, sure. And Bad Sports played that show and Radioactivity played that show. And it was a great show. It was an awesome show. And that was my first exposure to this band, and I still really love them. This song that I chose is off their self-titled record, and it's called Don't Try.
I feel like you didn't try on this episode, Nate. No, I'm just kidding.
It's a bad segue, Mike.
It was. We can't come back from that now. Let's just quit the podcast. It's done. No, Radioactivity is rad. I feel like Radioactivity was your gateway to that like sound of music that you've really embraced since then.
Totally. Yep. They were the gateway for sure. Did we cross over, or did we keep it to one?
We kept it to one.
Excellent.
So, Nate, when you think of Lawrence Arms side projects, I would say most people gravitate to something that Brendan has done or does.
Yeah.
But I decided to go away from that, and I went with Sundowner, which is Chris's side piece.
Right.
Yeah. Do you like Sundowner?
Yeah, I do like Sundowner. That's more of like the singer-songwriter ilk.
Yeah, but it still kind of feels like I feel like the first album is very singer-songwriter, and the album I picked was Neon Fiction, and I feel like it really came together on this album, and it feels like its own band.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's shades of Lawrence Arms in there because his voice is very distinct, and the way they put lyrics together, I think, still flows with Sundowner. And to be honest, like the more I hear Sundowner, the more I think that Chris's Lawrence Arms songs might be the better ones. Is that crazy?
I don't think it's crazy, but like I always peg Brendan's voice as the Lawrence Arms voice.
Yeah, I see that. I mean, I like Lawrence Arms a lot. I like Brendan Kelly's voice a lot too. So it's not like a knock or anything, but I guess, I don't know. Something about Sundowner I've always gravitated to it. I really love this album. And I went with the song Cemetery West, and it's still a song that I have on numerous playlists nowadays, I guess. I guess it'd be playlists, but it's just one of those songs that I just gravitate to on a regular basis. So that's what I went with.
You picked The Falcon on the first time we did this.
I did.
Did you know that?
I did pick The Falcon on the first time.
What's the other one? The one with Dave House?
The surfer one?
Hoss? No. Yeah. What's that one called? It's not the Lemonades.
The
Albrights.
Albrights, yeah. I thought putting
maybe
them,
that's where you were going.
I thought about putting them on here, but I felt like we played them a couple times on the podcast, but maybe not. Maybe we just liked it.
We played Sundowner on the podcast too.
Yes, I know I have, but not this song.
Yeah, and you've played the Lawrence Arms too.
Yes. Okay.
And the Falcon.
Why don't you just fuck off, Nate? Just fuck off. How many times you played Radioactivity on this podcast?
Once before.
Okay.
Just one time.
One time.
Radioactivity, don't try. Stop trying. Don't try. And?
Sundowner, Cemetery West. Thank you for listening. Thank you again for all the support. And as always, stay cool and be excellent to each other.
I drive a fire to get near you, but now you won't meet me. It's a far away, you're right, no go. And if I call you on the phone, I know you can't hear me. You're never there, never home. Is there any way you let me through? You needed me, and this time I need you. Oh, when I get too close, you say
You have to be serious, and you have to control your hands.
Okay, I can do this. I got this, Nate.
All right. If you say so.
Yeah. When it came out, I was just like coincide that I had like a bad flu or something, and I was like sick for 2 weeks. So he just told everybody I was playing Sega CD, and it like stuck. It was just like the rumor. And in fact, I believe the counselor like talked to me and he was like, "Did you skip school to play like video games?" I don't know if that's like,
Okay.
yeah.
I love how that's his voice.
Oh, he did have a voice kind of like that, I think. Good night or good day. Get lost.
G'day, mate.
Oh.